Hello, this is Professor Grant Thrall. This is part 4 of the video series on calculating dollars per square foot of single-family dwellings by time, by submarket, and the trend. It's taken us 3 videos before this one to get here, but now using Microsoft Excel and their very nice 3D charting capabilities, here we're using zip codes to represent the submarkets, and I want to emphasize zip codes are not the best representation of a housing submarket, but they're arguably the most commonly used in the United States. Here we have on the axis horizontally going away from you is zip codes, and these are the core zip codes for the Gainesville metropolitan area. And on this axis I have time segments, and I also have square footage. So this is, for example, 1991, 92, 93, and so forth on up to 2009. And we're looking at the average dollar sales price per square foot within the zip code, but only for houses that were within 2,000 and 2,500 square feet. And I've also in the previous videos explained that I had filtered the houses by owner occupancy and also to ensure that we were dealing with qualified sale. Several trends to identify on this is one is housing prices, when they increase, they do not increase as a straight line. They increase as a logistic S-curve, reach a maximum, and then have somewhat of a pullback. And we've seen that in the past. Here we have somewhat of a pullback, and it goes up again. And that's a standard. I've published articles in the Annals of the Association of American Geographers and elsewhere on housing prices following this logistic S-curve trend. So here we have zip code 32603, and right click on this, and I will make this into a different color. Zip code 32603, say we make it into a green color. This is the neighborhood immediately north of the University of Florida campus area, and it's part of a redevelopment zone, and so its tracking of single-family dwelling housing prices have been very good over time. So it was flat, and then circa 2000, 2004 it takes off, and then there's a bit of a pullback in the past year, 2009. But in terms of an investment, if you had bought property there in 2000, it looks to be the highest increasing in the entire Gainesville metropolitan area. Let's now look at another zip code, say 32601. 32601 is downtown Gainesville. That's the historic redevelopment area for you. So here we have downtown Gainesville, and it, as an investment, it has not behaved as well as the area immediately north of University of Florida. It's done well. It certainly has appreciated following this logistic S-curve, but it hasn't done quite the takeoff, the immediate campus area. Zip code 32604, and here is zip code 32605. This blue area we can see over on our legend. This is zip code 32605, and that has gone up significantly. And of course we need to keep in mind that we are interpreting this visually and qualitatively, not statistically. So we could compare then the price trends and the averages and the average increases in terms of statistics and hypothesis testing and a margin of error. But here we're just getting a qualitative feel for the various submarkets within the Gainesville area. Rust color, zip code 32608 is a large zip code that spans east and west of the Interstate I-75, but it also is the location of one of Gainesville's premier neighborhoods, which is Hale Plantation, and that can be searched on your internet browser. There is a Wikipedia page on Hale Plantation. It's about a 2,000-acre golf course community, new urbanist in part. So it appears that Hale Plantation too has had increases in housing prices following this logistic S-curve flat for many, many years, and there's a variety of reasons for that that we'll discuss in other videos. Then it starts to take off logistically, and it appears that our zip code 32608 has certainly performed well. So let's look at other houses and other size ranges. This was what we just looked at, was 2,000 to 2,500. Now look at the same, which is, and just turn off 2,000 to 2,500. Look at 2,500 to 3,000 square feet. Again, we see this nice logistic S-curve pattern, and we see Hale Plantation, zip code 32608, starting out at about the same prices as zip code 32605, and then it appears 32608 has performed better than has 32605, and we see that there's a lot of variation in the zip code 32603, which is just north of the university, and then here we have 32601, and let's try another. Now we're looking at 3,000 to 3,500 square feet. You see, is that where would we have liked to have bought into when? 10 years ago. That was the bottom of the market, and then it significantly increases. Zip code 32608 in terms of increase from a low, just qualitatively appears to have performed better than any of the other zip codes. Now that's not an indication that it's going to perform better in the future. It may well be that zip code 32605 does that, but just looking at past data, 32608 has been the best performer in terms of single-family dwelling prices per square foot for houses in the 3,000 to 3,500 square foot category, and now even larger 3,500 to 4,000 square foot. Again, it appears that 22608 for houses in the 3,500 to 4,000 square foot range, it has performed the best qualitatively. And let's go even larger. What I aim to demonstrate here is how we can use GIS to package the data and then to bring the data into other software programs so that we can qualitatively interpret. 32605 is a great sub-market for houses between 2,000 and 3,000 square feet, but not a great sub-market for houses that are over 4,000 square foot. And for houses 4,500 to 5,000 square foot, the sub-markets that appears to be in is 32608 again, 32607, which is far northwesterly Gainesville. Here we have some in 32605, but it's rather erratic. It's probably due to a small number of sales per year. Now let's go down in size. We started out at 2,000 square feet, 1,500 to 2,000 square feet. In that size range, we have nice logistic S-curve for 32601. Now remember, these are for single-family dwellings, not for condominiums. And 32601 has a lot of condominiums. And here we have the blue is for 32605, and then we have 32608, which is peaking above the crowd. So it appears then is that for a variety of house price ranges, the premier market is zip code 32608 in terms of performance, followed by 32603, which is immediately north of University of Florida, followed by 32605 and 32601. That's just a qualitative assessment. In subsequent videos, we'll deal with quantitative assessments.